This video I'm showing how to do the gear change and the clutch, how to install them. Now I've already installed the cables, which is the gear change cable and the clutch cable at this side here. Now you have to have an adjuster on it here that's adjustable, and it also has to have these two slots here so that you can actually put the cable in there, and then when you turn it and it won't come out, but once it's gone in there it won't come out anyway. So I've routed the cables. This is an N23, so I've routed the cables down, and this is the gear side here. I've actually put in the gear cable, which is here, and it goes in a hole there. This is in every frame, so it goes in there like so, and it's going to be coming out to attach onto the gear change lever here. What you have to do is you have to have it in second gear. You must turn it to second gear when you have the cables on. Right, what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to pull this off, because I can't get the cable to come out and onto the gear change lever here. Now the important thing about the gear change lever, the gear change cable, is that there's a hole through the casing there, but this cable comes without anything on it. There's nothing like this on it here like you'd have on the end of most cables. So therefore you have to have there's a special little piece that goes in there, this piece here. Now this is what it's like when it's not in position. You can see that there's a slot on it for the cable to slot into it, and then this goes into the engine in here. As you can see there, I have the cable already on it. I slotted it through that there. It's very fiddly, so it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you have the engine on, but you can't really do it when the engine is off. So there, I'm at to get it into the hole there now. It's gone in there now, and it won't go through, and as you can see, the end of the cable, there's nothing on it. So I must get that cable now to go in there, which isn't easy when you're trying to film it. If there was somebody at the other side now push it in for me to be great, but this might work. Yeah, I think that worked. Right, so you can see it coming out here now. Now as you can see, this has got to go back, and the cable has got to come through here, and the nipple has got to be on there. So I've done this quite a few times now, and even though you do it a few times, I don't know, maybe it's me, I keep forgetting, but I think what I have to do is I've got to take off the whole gear thing off of the handlebars itself. So I've got to pull it off. I'm at the loosening the screw there, and take it off. So the whole thing is out of coming off. That gives you more possibility of pulling out the nipple there. So I'll just sort out the nipple there now to get it out before I'll continue. So what I've done, I hope I'll be able to get it back on now again, but I've taken out this out of the section here that it goes into. The other thing about the gear cable is that before you put the grip on, you must put on the cable. You would have to pull the handle back, because it actually keeps the cable in place, even though this hole here holds it in place as well when it's on with that part there. So anyway, as you can see down here now, I have the nipple out far enough that I can get it over the little slot. Right, so I'm after putting the old camera on a tripod there now, and I'm pulling the nipple out and down over the slot, and it goes back into the thing there. Remember that the thing must be in second gear. Right, so I'm going to pull this thing down here now. Right, that's that done. 1 second now, I'm going to have to change the camera position again. Right, I've got to try and get this back down here now and out in there, which isn't the easiest thing to do. Again, if you had somebody with you now to actually push the gear lever down there, push that in with a screwdriver, and it'll give more cable here, so that I'll be able to pull that back down over that, and then you put the whole thing back up onto the handlebars, and the handlebars have to be like that. You can't have the handlebars turned the other way or you'll never get it on. So I'm just going to have to stop filming now. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pressing in the little gear lever here. I'm going to be pressing that in with a screwdriver, see, and then it's going to loosen the top section, and hopefully I'll get the cable back down over the slot, this down over here, so that it goes into the hole in there. So what I actually had to do was I had to take this out completely and push in the gear thing down below on the engine, as I said. Take this out, slip this into that, and get it back in over it like that. And as you can see, it's on the second gear. So all I have to do now is to put that whole thing back onto the handlebars itself. And you might notice on the handlebars, I hit the handlebars a couple of times with a pin driver to make a couple of little indentations, and that's to tighten the thing up on the handlebars so that it doesn't move. Sometimes when you screw this down, it'll keep moving. So that's just a bit of a trick that I saw on some other video where you do that, is just tap it with a punch, with a pointed punch, to just get the metal to stick up a little bit to hold it in place. So now that's the gear change side of it done. I'm not sure now if I have to take it off again, even though I've done quite a few of these, but you'd forget what you're doing when you're not doing them all the time. So I'll check now again and see if I have to take it off again to do the clutch, but that's the gear change on anyway. And also, to be able to do that, I had the air hose on, so I had to take it off because you can't work with it, but it's easy enough to get it on afterwards. So I'm now putting the clutch cable through, and again it goes through that hole there and out the other side. There it is, coming out the other side. There it is there. And with this one then, you have to pick it up and get it out through that slot there. And that section on the engine then holds that cable from coming through. So then you've got to get this lever and push it back as far as it'll go. Mine is a bit stuck there now because this engine has been sitting in the shed for quite a while, so I must have knocked it off or something, so I must just put the clutch lever up in place. So now I'm after getting the clutch lever up into where it should be, and I have the cable coming down, and with a small bit of pushing I should be able to get it into place, but I'll have to get a screwdriver to it. It's too hard to push it in, so I'll be just pushing that in, and then this should pop through the thing here, and the little nipple should go into place. So that's it after popping into place, so I didn't have to take off the lever up here. So I'm just going to see what's going to happen. Now in this case here, this isn't going back tight enough, so I'm going to need a longer one of these, so I'll have to try and find one in my tool kit or my spares, and if I have a longer one I can cut a slot on it like that if I don't have one with a slot on it, because it needs to tighten back further to tighten the clutch, and I need to, in my case, I need to change this because it's a bit too worn inside here. It's not catching on the gears properly. So that's how to put on a clutch and how to put on how to do the gear change on a 2-speed NSU Quickly.